Good morning. I'm Victoria Savage, Nurse Savage on your side. Your Wisdom Guided Oracle, and we're having coffee in a beautiful hummingbird mug this morning. Okay, how's everybody doing out there in this interesting energy we're living in, ever changing, quickly shifting, and we're all in our human body suits going, I don't even know where I live anymore, let alone who I am. So I hope you're doing some things that are helping you stay in balance. Archangel Michael wanted to come through today. Last night, I listened to a couple of lovely things. One was an interview that Bill Maher did with Jane Fonda. And Jane Fonda is someone I've always liked to watch on TV. She was hated by my parents because of her views on Vietnam. Uh, I feel like they were pretty righteous views, but that's, of course, I'm not in love with what she does politically. That's not why I watch someone. Although I have to say, there are a couple of times when I have not watched a couple of people because of what they've espoused, but I digress. And she was talking about what she saw in the world as truth. And it was truly so unremarkable, uninformed, and it became very apparent about the bubble that she lives in. But what came up for me, and then I watched Jane Goodall's The Final Word, that an interview that she taped, not to be shown till after she died, and just such a remarkable woman, and so many lovely things she said. But what came up and what really showed me the truth of what we are in right now was this thought, which is the 3 Ds: deceit, deception, and division. That is absolutely the interview, I think, with Jane Fonda brought that up because there, what she only focused on news wise was that which supported what she believed. The others only focus on what they believe, which makes us very easy to manipulate. So, what does that look like? It looks like us taking charge of us, because the real truth is, if we truly will consider the opinions of others from the fact that they have lived different lives than us, we can be so much more effective in allowing others to do them and allowing us to do us, and realizing we don't have to be divided. We can listen. We don't have to adopt, and we don't have to agree, and we don't have to try to change them. We have to accept them, because the truth is we are far more alike than we are different. And we are far more able to enjoy one another's company than mass media, social media, whatever media would like us to believe. Fear is easy to control. And so the more fear you can create, the more control you can exhibit. And that is absolutely what media wants, regardless of which side you believe is right. It is all mechanism for control. This is who you have to be in disagreement with. This is who you have to hate. This is who you have to blame. And the truth is, much of what we're told we have to hate, blame, and cause upheaval for doesn't even affect us. And if we got together with a person next to us that believes polar opposite, we can usually find some common ground and realize that they are a good person too. So Archangel Michael wanted to come through with this very warrior aspect. We want to let go of the 3 Ds. We really must fight for our sovereignty and for our ability to adapt and understand from another's point of view. We're going into some very tumultuous times, but this card, I chuckle because of how it looks, and the fact that it's kind of a buggy looking card. Well, it is. It's a butterfly kind of standing on its wings. It's called Soul Retrieval. And this is so incredibly important, because the message behind this, really is that we have had traumas and hurts in this life and in past lives where we have lost pieces of our soul and going to those traumas and hurts and choosing to recover the parts of us that were injured and that were buried and that were pulled away from us is a very powerful thing. And a choice is all we need. But then there's the other aspect, the retrieving that truest person that we are. And that to me is that little child. And I chuckle because of the bug. You know, my grandchildren have been great illustrations for that. My children were when they were little, just how excited they get over bugs and over little things. And my little 6-year-old granddaughter, she will stop and check out a bug still and want to understand it better. And if you've put anything in the chat, there's just a circling on it. I don't know what's going on. I'm hoping that Restream is coming through okay otherwise, but I don't think you're able to comment that I can see. So just, I digress. Back to the bug. This is the return to our innocence, to our original blueprint. You know, if you see children come together on a playground and we leave them alone, and these are young children, 4, 5, and 6, where they probably haven't taken on the imprint of hate that adults can give them. They'll look at each other. And I remember my oldest granddaughter saying, "Do you want to be my best friend at the park today?" And it was just such a perfect way to step into a relationship with someone we don't know, assuming that they can be our best friend at the park. My 6-year-old now granddaughter got together last year with another little girl who, I mean, they just hit it off at the park and just had the best time. Children will always go for choosing to be friends and play. So that's what this soul retrieval is about too, is recalling that innocence, recalling that choice to be a friend to another rather than alienate them because they look different, they sound different, they dress different. We want that difference because that enriches our life. And it also reminds us that we are never going to be able to see things exactly the same way. Perspective is a huge, healthy way to walk through the world. A perspective that is probably different than ours. So the next card that came up was from the Ancient Stones, and it's leadership. Pave your own way. Have the courage to lead by being someone who goes out and looks for the good and invites conversation, invites the differences. And our humanness is easily swayed if we choose to believe that everything coming into us is true. One of the things I've taken to watching on TV or something, I mean, because I'm a foodie and I love to cook, is some of the, you know, the Top Chef episodes. And again, the documentaries, the things that help me understand the lives of others. And it helps because it doesn't place me in a place of greater darkness, increased strife and division. Many of the, I love mysteries and all of that, but I can watch only a little bit of it because it will influence my dreams. It'll influence the heaviness. It'll influence what I walk with. So we really want to be courageous. Forge, don't follow, which means tune in to what expands you, what makes you feel good, what grows your joy. Self-reliant, insightful, humorous, know exactly what to do, the benefit of experience. This is the Archangel Power Tarot, I believe, and this is a Queen of Michael. Insightful, humorous. We really want to come to life right now with a sense of humor, as much as we can find it in the ridiculousness of we ourselves as humans. And there are days when it is absolutely a challenge to find humor. But if you are continuously looking for a way to bring lightness and humor, which is really how I prefer to travel, you will be given some feed that provides you with more insight and more ability to laugh at who we are. So, what does that look like for you? Self reliance, being insightful, open, willing, ready, guide me to show me what is here for me, how I can return to a place of lighter energy on any given time. Be clear on what you want and take action. A need to detoxify, the seven of Raphael. We need to be detoxing from the influence of media and social media. We really want to detoxify and start eating foods that are fueling this physical body. This is the vehicle we've got. And the distraction that happens when this vehicle doesn't feel good is exactly what those powers that were want us to be focused on. The domination, the control powers want to keep our focus off of the truth of who we are, which are power brokers here that can make huge changes when we focus on what we desire instead of all that is not what we desire. We are in the aftermath of a very powerful super moon. That always has to do with listening to our intuition, our magic part. But remember, it has to do with the shadows coming up for us. The shadows are a sign, and they're not the easiest sign to live with. This says the opportunity to improve your plans. When you are listening, which is the other message, to your intuition, a lot of times what has to happen is a clearing away. So the awareness that you're carrying this less than lovely energy in. Another, for me, this full moon, another layer of shame came up, and self condemnation. And so, like, yeah, that doesn't ever make me feel good. And it rarely shoots me forward in high vibe energy. But it is something that I have to be aware of. Ooh, another layer of that. Couple of these things are very big energies that I came in to learn from, and I carried in a boatload of them. And so once a huge energy shift is performed, I have friends that work on me. I work on myself. I tell my clients that when we do energy work, it's like the champagne cork coming out of a bottle. A bunch comes out, and it eases the way for more layers of the same to come out. Because everything that we are did not go in all at once. It is not going to come out all at once. So know that things are going to come up. And so another layer of shame came up for me, and it was time to choose by writing it down and burning it, and a focus on when it comes up. I focus on my new favorite theme song, uh, which is crazy that it doesn't come up for me in my I speak, it is done, because that's a powerful way, knowing that our words are energy and that our thoughts are energy. And I have to bring through in my intention of choosing my thoughts regularly, I have to choose the power that I've got to create what I want in this life and to shift and release the things that I don't. I don't do that by focusing on the things I don't like. I do that by focusing on how I choose to move forward. And that's huge. I've talked a little bit in a couple of videos about the pain body and how focusing on that all the time, which is an easy distraction, because pain is here, and every step it's like, ooh, I'm focusing on walk as if I'm not in pain. Walk as if this body is comfortable, and keep choosing comfort. And then the tools come along to help you create more of that. But it is a very intentional thing at first. Hoping, wishing, which is another thing that beautiful song brings through, is not going to change anything. Whining is not going to change anything. It's going to bring more of what you don't want. The Eight of Ariel is the last card. Take great pride in your excellent work. Consider getting additional education or training. Start looking for different tools that will help shift your reality to more of what you want and less of what you don't. They'll come up for you when you start looking at empowerment tools, body alignment tools. Years ago, I made a declaration in anger about a thought that I had, that I would never be able to do the wonderful adventure of walking through the woods anymore because of so much wound up energy and stuck energy in the physical body. And that was in October. The next August, I did a 7-day backpacking trip with a friend. Now, truth is, before that, I had never backpacked. I'd never ever done that, but I always kind of wanted to. And then I thought I'd never even get to do walking in the forest again. But when I got angry and I said, screw that shit, that is not my truth, because I didn't like that idea that I wouldn't be able to walk through the forest again. And by August, I had attracted and become aware of belief systems that were limiting what I did. And I brought to me different physical modalities that helped release and unwind what years of belief and no regard for the physical body, in fact, loathing and hatred of this vehicle, had done. And so it must be an intention that you're going to move through the world differently than what you have been, if there are things you want to change. And for most of us, there are. So what does that look like for you? Start choosing what you desire and choosing to release into the atmosphere. I always send things to the light. Some people send things to the earth. Whatever you feel led to do. But don't just pull it and leave it. We don't want it in our field anymore. And that's the choice you're making when you choose differently. I choose very powerful words. Thank you so much for joining me on this beautiful Wednesday in October. I'm Victoria Savage, Nurse Savage, on your side, your wisdom guided oracle. Until we meet again.